All right, we have got some stuff to talk about today. I was out of town traveling last week, so I didn't get to join in with these Facebook Live sessions, and I really missed them. And I was actually in Myrtle Beach in South Carolina with our family, and so I've got on my Captain America shirt because we're going to be talking about overcoming obstacles. And kind of just to start things out, one of the obstacles that got that we kind of overcame last week at the beach. I've got a 4-year-old son, and he's kind of learning how to swim, and so we were kind of in the pool, and he was trying to like figure out how to keep himself afloat and everything. And we had been working on making sure you get your arms going and reaching out and everything. Try not to do the little doggy paddle and kicking your feet and all this other stuff. And so we were getting to the point where he was getting ready to, take off from where I was kind of, in the middle of the pool towards the wall on his own. So he could kind of like make that first kind of swim path or whatever right on his own. And so I said, okay, man, here's what we got to do. The most important thing is to take a deep breath before you go. And then, remember to reach your hands out, remember to kick your feet. And when you get to the wall, touch the wall. And if you need any help, if anything goes wrong and you need any help, just wave your hand and I'll grab you right away. So everything will be just fine. Okay? And he says, okay, all right, we're going to do it. And so, he kind of stands on my knee, and then he sort of, kind of jumps off into the pool and starts swimming. And immediately he starts shaking his hand. And so I grab him up and I say, hey, what's wrong? What's wrong? Are you okay? And he's like, I forgot the most important thing. And he hadn't taken the deep breath. And it was, and so, but after that, he really got really good at it. And he was really able to overcome these obstacles of swimming. And so that caused me to think, well, what we really need to do as WordPress consultants is, there's so many obstacles that kind of get in the way of starting our business. And sometimes there's critics, basically, is what it comes down to. And so today I'm going to talk about one source of critics, and on Thursday I'm going to talk about another. So there's so much criticism out there that it warrants two different conversations. Today we're going to be talking about how there are just people are just telling you it can't be done, and it's discouraging. And so what do you do about it? And so here's the thing. The bottom line is that most WordPress developers out there today are really, really struggling to make a decent living. And by that, what I mean is, most WordPress developers in the United States that are kind of working for themselves are making about $35,000 per year, kind of on average, somewhere in the $2,000 to $4,000 per month range. And it's hard to live on that, especially if you've got a family and you're trying to provide for yourself. But the good news is it doesn't have to be that way. What you can do is you can shift the way that you run your business to have a dramatically different impact, both for yourselves and for your clients. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're also going to be talking about, what can you do to kind of bust through the obstacles that are kind of holding you back from really achieving those types of results for yourself. So the backstory about, how all of this got started and like why I'm even here today talking to you guys about this is this. I talk to a lot of WordPress developers, and I've been doing so for many, many years, probably 10 years or so, going to WordCamps, going to meetup groups, answering support tickets, all kinds of venues for getting access to folks. And the problem is I hear things like this all the time, especially now, like this year, over the past year, year and a half, there's been some really common complaints that just keep resurfacing over and over. And they sound something like, I used to get a lot of leads from my website, but I'm still getting traffic. I'm still ranking well for my terms. I haven't really lost my position in the search engines. The site's still getting traffic. I'm just not getting the leads from that traffic. And so, that's a really common thing that I hear a lot. Or another one would be, I used to be able to land, $3,000 websites, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 websites, but I can't land those anymore. And like my skills have gotten better. I'm better at what I can do now than I was before. But for whatever reason, the proposals aren't working, whatever, it seems like things have just changed. I don't know what's going on. And, I'm actually having to charge less now than I was a year or two ago, even though the product that I'm delivering is a better product. And that's really frustrating. And so, not only am I not growing, I'm actually kind of sinking back and things are kind of going the wrong direction. So I hear that a lot. Or I'll hear things like, I'm working more hours than I used to, and I'm actually making less money. And so it seems like to grow your business, you have to do more work and work more hours. And so, that could be cool as long as things are growing, but things aren't growing. I'm working more, but I'm not seeing the benefit from it. And so I keep hearing things like this over and over. And the bottom line is people are feeling like things are kind of moving in the wrong direction. And instead of, getting better skills, which should equal getting better, higher paying clients, they're getting the better skills. They're putting in the work to improve their lives or whatever, improve their skill set, but it's not translating into better projects. It's not translating into higher paying clients. It's not translating into a growing business. And instead, oftentimes what it means is it's, people are kind of, declining a little bit and not actually doing as well this year as they did last year. And so things are kind of moving in the wrong direction. And so, people will say things like, my income is all over the place. Sometimes, I'll have an awesome month and I'll get like this great project. And then 2 or 3 months will go by with nothing. And everything's just so spiky and unpredictable and it's stressing me out. And, or other times people will say, I'm working really late at night. I'm trying to shift out of a full-time job into the WordPress consulting business that they really want to do full-time. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to build up their portfolio for really inexpensive rates. Sometimes even free websites just to show that they have something to deliver, that they can do certain things. And so they're working into the wee hours of the morning. They're exhausted all the time. Just sometimes for pennies per hour. And it's just frustrating and people are getting burnt out. And even if they finally can make it through to the point where they've got, 2 or 3 kind of example sites in their portfolio, those sites aren't translating into getting more clients, and especially not clients at higher values. And so, again, people are really burnt out from that. And or people will say, I've got solid skills. I used to work at an agency and, people were, charging me, you're billing me out at $100 an hour or whatever, but now I'm really struggling even to just make 30 on my own. What's going on? What can I do? And so all of these things are coming to me, whether it's through WordCamps or meetups or, support tickets or over the phone or in a forum like this, all of this kind of feedback is coming to me. And about a year ago, I was like, what? I've had enough of not being able to really help people with this. Because, I was looking around trying to refer people to different courses and to, what kinds of skills they might need and what kind of help they might be able to get. And I wasn't really able to do anything about it. And so the main issue really is that a lot of people are kind of stuck in an outdated or an older approach to WordPress consulting. And what I mean by that is, we talked a couple of weeks ago about how I view where we are today as WordPress freelancing 3.0, where there used to be, 2 previous iterations of what it looked like to be a WordPress consultant or a web developer, a web designer. And I've been doing this for 16 years. So I've kind of gone through all 3 of those phases. And, it started out, just to kind of recap, if you didn't see the previous session, I'll put a link in it, in the description or whatever. But just to kind of recap that whole idea, it used to be the case. In fact, the first form of my business was really to kind of come alongside traditionally offline ad agencies that were doing things like direct mail campaigns, and they wanted to start offering an online component to a traditionally offline marketing campaign, but they didn't want to hire an entire web team to do it. They didn't have anybody on staff that could do web stuff. And so that's where I would come in. I would come in and I would sort of be the behind the scenes outsourced web development department for their business. And so if they were going to do a direct mail campaign, I'd build a website that looked like the same marketing materials so people could respond either by mail or go online and respond to the marketing. And so that was really cool. And that worked great for a couple of years. But then what happened is, the web got easier and WordPress began to evolve. This was even before WordPress was even around. And then WordPress came around, and then what happened was the ad agencies began to train their designers to be able to build websites. And so that kind of shifted the way that they interacted with me, because no longer did they need me to go out and put up, the 5-page website with the contact form kind of thing. They could do that on their own using WordPress, and they could manage that the content and the blogs and all of that stuff could really be done by non-technical folks that sort of were tech savvy, like graphic designers, for example. I mean, they work with computers, but they don't do so much with internet programming per se, but they were good enough to be able to do the kinds of things that were necessary for that role. And so that shifted things. And so instead of just having me build these websites, they would have me do more of the advanced stuff. So like custom themes, custom plugins, getting into e-commerce, stuff like that. If they had a client that wanted to do some of that stuff, or like multi-page forms, I did a lot of work for like folks that were applying for college, like college application forms and stuff. And so to build that kind of stuff, that was kind of beyond what the graphic designers could do, and that what they were trained to do. They could put up a page or whatever, but they couldn't do the more advanced stuff. And so that's where I came in. And so, but then what happened is the WordPress ecosystem shifted again. And now, where we are today, it's easy to do multi-page forms. I mean, just put Gravity Forms or whatever into the mix, and point and click your way to whatever kind of form you want. Or e-commerce is there. There's so many themes that are out there that a custom theme is really unnecessary, especially with the page builders and the and the kinds of themes that actually are kind of designed to be like multi-purpose themes or whatever. You don't really need to have a custom theme for most businesses. Now, of course, there's always fringe cases and so forth where you might need a custom theme or a custom plugin, but for the majority of cases, the kinds of things that are readily available in the forms of themes and plugins will suffice for almost everything that people really need to get done. And so now what's happened is there's really no purpose of having those types of things in the mix. So what they do is there's been this third shift, and the third shift is the thing that people are sort of missing. The vast majority of WordPress developers are missing the fact that we've now shifted out of being able to just offer these technical skills and into being able to deliver some type of business outcome, some type of a result for the clients that they're looking for. And so what that looks like is, they're continuing to offer things like graphic design services or video production services or SEO or responsive design, or they're trying to get into like recurring revenue with like monthly retainers by offering things like WordPress maintenance plans or WordPress care plans where, plugins get updated and, you're just making sure stuff doesn't get hacked or whatever. And what's happening is clients are saying, no, I'm not going to pay that. I'm not going to pay those prices for those types of services because they can get the services in other ways for cheaper. For example, like suppose you're out there selling like an $800 website, that's like your main thing. Well, why would somebody spend $800 with you when they could spend $500 by going on Upwork or whatever to get the same kind of thing? Or, forget about spending any money. Why would they spend any money with you when they could go to Wix or Squarespace or Weebly or whatever and build their own website? Like if what they want is a 5-page site with a contact form, just a couple of static pages that's responsive or whatever, then why would they go and spend like $800 or $500 when they could just kind of do that on their own? And so that really begins to open the door to like this significant fundamental shifting type of problem where the technology isn't hard at all. Like people can do it themselves. Non-technical people can do it themselves. I mean, my daughter takes piano lessons, and her piano teacher built her own website on Wix for free. And it looks great. There's nothing the matter with it. It does exactly what she wants. She wants a couple of pages on the internet. If she happens to be, out and about and someone says, I'm looking for piano lessons, she can say, hey, go to my website. You can see what I do, yada, yada, yada. Everything's good. There's no reason for her to pay $1,000 or $800 or $500 for a site like that. She can do it herself. And it's just a couple pages, a picture of her, a couple of pianos, and shazam, you got what you want, right? So the big issue is if you're going to be in the WordPress consulting business, you're going to have to come up with some type of a reason why you're not that. Why is working with you better than building a Wix website, or better than, going onto Upwork? Like, I don't know if you go, here's the thing, go onto Upwork, take a look at the business side. So like pretend like you are not the WordPress developer, but you're the business who wants a website. Go on there and take a look at what they're telling business owners to do in order to get someone to build a WordPress site for them. And what you'll see is they're telling the owners to go out there and make a very detailed spec of what they want their website to look like and what they want their website to do. Give that spec, you post that out there as a request for proposal. In come all the proposals where people want to do a good job for you and do the things that are on your list. And it's really very cheap. And the reason it's cheap is because the technical implementation of whatever that spec is, it's not that hard to do. Like we just talked about the fact that my daughter's piano teacher, who's like 20 years old or whatever, and focuses entirely on being an awesome pianist. She did it herself over the weekend. So we're really kind of saving people time, the convenience factor, but it's not a high value thing. So what you need to do if you want to shift your business into a situation where you're making more money and actually helping your clients better, the key is to elevate your client to a position that they wouldn't otherwise be able to reach if it wasn't for working with you. That's the fundamental key. That's the secret but obvious solution to this problem. It's no longer about implementing web pages. It's about delivering the kinds of results that your clients are looking for. And so here's the thing. Here's where the whole criticism thing comes into play. So about a year ago, it really dawned on me that nobody is helping anybody achieve this kind of a shift. I wasn't helping anyone do it. I was doing it myself, and I was realizing the benefits of it. But I didn't have any platform or any way to help in any like transformational way. Like I could tell people what I'm telling you right now, but that doesn't really help people get to that kind of an outcome because there's too many questions. It's too much to assume that you can just talk to somebody for 15 minutes or whatever, and then Shazam, the light bulb goes off and everything is now better in this whole new form of a business. And so what I'm saying is it takes three major things in order to shift into this new version of WordPress consulting or WordPress freelancing or WordPress development, whatever you want to call it. There's three critical issues that really need to be addressed. And I could find places where you can get one or two, but not the complete package. And here's what it is. The first thing that you have to do is you have to have the technical skills that drive business results. So it's not about just making the website look pretty. You have to make the website look pretty and drive some type of result. And those results are different compared, depending on who you're working with. So for example, like if you're working with a restaurant, the stuff that they want is going to be different from a chiropractor, which is going to be different from a lawn care system or lawn care service. So the kinds of results that are out there are very widespread. But the point is, you're not going to get any results if all you're doing is putting up a pretty website that doesn't do anything, that doesn't have these types of technical tools in place. So you have to learn the technical tools that drive the results. So that's thing number one. Thing number two is you have to stop emphasizing the technical skills. The implementation doesn't make any difference. And the way we know that the implementation doesn't make any difference is because there's other folks offering to do the same type of end result of a 5-page site with a form on it, but they might do it on Squarespace, or they might do it on Wix, or maybe they'll do it on WordPress, or maybe it's this theme, or maybe it's that plugin, maybe it's Ninja Forms, maybe it's Gravity Forms. There's all these different implementations, but no one actually cares. The only people that care about that are people like us that actually have to do the implementation. And so we can do things to streamline the process, to make it easier, more repeatable, more secure. All of those things matter to us. Those things don't matter to the clients that you're working with. And so that's the second shift, is to stop emphasizing the implementation and to start emphasizing what people are going to get out of it once you have that done already. And of course, it's much more than just a website, right? So, another way to phrase all of this is you're not really selling websites at this point anymore. You're now selling like an effective tool that other business owners are using to get more calls, to get more leads, to get more people into their stores, to whatever, introducing additional income streams, whatever it might be. There's all kinds of things that result in making a difference, making an impact for your clients. And that's where the emphasis needs to be. But here's the third thing. The third thing, which is absolutely missing from like, I feel like I've turned over every rock I can find, but have not been able to find this third pillar, which is you have to have someone there to help you out with this stuff. And the reason that I feel so strongly about that is because that's what it took for me to figure it all out. I wasn't just kind of, rubbing my fingers together, sitting in my house or whatever, and just said, ta-da, here it goes. It takes being a part of a community of folks, being able to be forward looking. You have to be able to make a ton of fundamental transformations in the way that you see yourself, the way that you see your business, the way that you see the value of what you can deliver, and the way that your clients see you. And there's so many different aspects of all of this. And so you need someone to like go over proposals with you, because the way you write proposals is going to change because of what the emphasis, the shift in emphasis is going to change the structure of your proposals. And the marketing, the way that you market yourself, that's going to fundamentally shift based on, like, if you've got a website where you're saying, I do graphic design, I do SEO, I do web design, I do WordPress maintenance, I've got, buy 5 prepaid hours of my time and I'll do whatever you want kind of stuff. If that's the kind of stuff that's on your website, you have to fundamentally change that. That's not going to draw in the clients. So if you're one of those people that's saying, hey, you know what, I used to be able to get a lot of leads from my website, I'm still getting traffic to my website, but the traffic's not converting to leads anymore, that's probably because the information on your website is very generic, very process-oriented, very implementation-oriented, and not results-oriented whatsoever. And so that you need somebody to help you figure out, how can you take those types of skills, which are awesome, but communicate them in a way that is actually going to attract the types of clients that you want. And not just the market that you're looking for, but your ideal clients from within that market. That's a fundamental thing that most people are going to need some help with, that sort of a thing. And then, of course, there's the skills that we talked about, the technical skills, but not just that, but how do you, like, what combination of those technical skills can you package together and offer to your clients in a way that's actually going to allow you to establish monthly retainers for something that's so much better than just WordPress care plans or whatever. Now, I'm not hating on WordPress care plans. Everybody who has a WordPress site needs some sort of a care plan to make sure everything stays updated and whatever. But if that's all that you're offering, then nobody's going to want to buy that. They're just going to gamble and say, hey, you know what, maybe my site won't get hacked. And if it does, it'll probably cost me less to fix it than it would to keep paying you month to month to maintain it or whatever. And so it's a very difficult thing to sell. But if you bundle that in with some other things that really do matter, then all of a sudden the entire picture changes. And now your client is like, this is, thinking that this is awesome. You're thinking it's awesome. Everybody's winning because of that kind of shift. But in order to make that shift, oftentimes it requires talking it through with somebody, figuring out, what are the kinds of clients that you like to work with? Do you feel like you excel in a particular area? Like, what are you interested in? Those types of things matter. And, how do you find those types of clients so that you can really help them in a way that's better than what they would otherwise be able to achieve on their own? And so, talking that through with somebody is really helpful. And, pricing structures too, that's another thing. So like once you have that combination of tools and services that you can offer, what do you charge? What is it worth? How do you figure out what it's worth? And communicating that to your client. So that's why I say that it's so critical to have that third component of having somebody there that you can talk this stuff through, that can help you review all of this stuff like in a real-time basis for an extended period of time, mind you. So it's not just like, hey, can you call me up for one afternoon and let me just dump everything that I've ever been thinking on you so that you can magically fix it. But like, how can you, over the course of a couple of weeks or months or whatever, how can you get that kind of help that you need to make that sort of transformation? So that's what I'm talking about. Those are the 3 things. It's the technical skills, it's emphasizing the results, and it's getting the kind of help that you need to make the kind of transformation that you're really looking for. So what I did was, I put a program together that offers all 3 of those pillars: the tech skills, the business strategies, and the consulting. So like you and me, we can work together on these types of things for a couple of months together. So make sure that you're getting the kinds of progress and results that you're looking for. And so as soon as I began to offer that sort of stuff, that began the flood of criticism. That's where the critics came from. And people were beginning to say stuff like, WordPress is a commodity, it's cheap, it's the bottom of the barrel, pick a better platform, WordPress is declining, or all of these things started coming out of the woodwork with all of this negative criticism about offering to help people with these types of things. And so the problem with all of that is you owe it to your clients to do a better job than everyone else is doing. And it's kind of like we were just talking about the $800 website. Why would you feel comfortable offering or taking $800 from somebody when they could get the exact same thing for less or even for free? And if that's the case, wouldn't it make you feel better to know that when you ask somebody to hire you to do something, that they're getting the best return on their investment? They're getting something out of it. They're getting more for their money with you by a lot than they would be getting, spending that same money with somebody else. And so the big issue with that is there's all of these people out there. There's thousands and thousands of business owners and stores and local businesses everywhere that are suffering from this exact issue, where they need to have a web presence, they need to be online, they need to be communicating with folks over the internet to be able to grow their business, but there's nobody there helping them do it. And so that's a huge problem, because everyone is just trying to implement all of these skills on the internet. And then the reason, I'll tell you right now, the reason why nobody's buying these high value websites anymore, if you feel like that's the case, the reason for that is I know that if somebody spends $500-$800 on a website, that I'm not going to be able to generate the kind of results that they really want. They're just going to get a nice looking site that's going to be responsive. It's probably going to be fast and secure, but no one's going to go there because no one's there. No one's kind of running the engine behind the scenes. Nobody's doing this stuff on an ongoing basis that matters for driving the results. I know that, you know that, the client knows that, everybody knows that, and that's why the client isn't willing to pay any money for that type of a product. Because that's why the prices are going down. That's why everybody's struggling. It's because everybody knows that those types of websites don't really make a difference. And so what I'm suggesting is to do better than that. There's so many ways, and the WordPress ecosystem in particular has never been more powerful. There have never been more plugins and themes and all of the issues that used to be issues with hosting and security and maintenance and all of these types of things have really been smoothed over to the point where you can make a massive impact for the clients that you want to be working with, and they need you to be doing it. I mean, that's the major thing. The whole reason that I'm sitting here is because I feel so passionate about the fact that there's people that can do awesome stuff, and they need you and me. They need folks like us who are moving into this next level of WordPress consulting, where we're not just putting stuff together, but we're doing it in a way that makes a difference, that makes an impact, that has a result, that drives an outcome for the clients that we're working with. We need that because we need to be able to, get paid for our work and run a business and, provide for your families. They need that because they need those kinds of results so that they can grow their business. Their clients need that so that, their clients can be finding them online when they otherwise wouldn't be finding a 5-page static website or whatever, unless there was someone like you there to help drive the traffic, to drive the conversions, to drive the results, all of those types of things. So everyone wins when you make this shift. But so many people have such strong, violent criticism over doing all of these types of things that it's been a really shocking experience for me, because here I am thinking I'm helping people to achieve the kinds of results that they're looking for, and not only that, but they're going to get the business they want. Their clients are going to get the kinds of results from their website. Like we were just talking about, everybody's winning. And so why would somebody complain about that? Why would people say things like WordPress is in decline? WordPress is the bottom of the barrel. WordPress this, WordPress that. Well, the reason is there's the people that are shouting the criticisms the loudest are the ones stuck deepest in the problem, and they simply can't see the way out. They don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. They don't see this third shift that we're talking about that fundamentally makes all the difference. That's the issue. Those are the people really shouting things down. And my encouragement to you right now, if you haven't taken anything else away from the whole talk, is this: don't let those voices rob you of your dream. Because if you want to be the kind of person that runs your own business, that is making an impact for the clients that you're working with, that has a really fulfilling job, and you're getting paid for your work, and you're delivering premium services, you're getting premium rates, if that's what you want, and you have a passion for that like I do, then don't let people start shouting you down with all of this negativity. That's complete nonsense, because the pure facts are that WordPress is bigger and better than it's ever been. The WordPress ecosystem is stronger than it's ever been. WordPress continues to increase market share. It's already got 1 out of every 3 websites basically are run by WordPress. So, and it's demonstrably better than building a site on Wix or Weebly or Squarespace or anything else if you know what you're doing. And the real big deal behind it all is you've got the tools to do something about problems as they arise. So like, for example, if the site's too slow, what are you going to do about that on Wix? You're not going to find a new host for Wix or whatever. But if things begin to grow with your client, You can move your client site to a faster host if you want to, whatever it might be. I mean, there's so many different types of things that you can do on WordPress that fundamentally makes WordPress a better, more powerful, more flexible platform than any of the other platforms out there. And those are just the pure facts. And so you can silence the critics telling you that it can't be done by simply referencing the fact that people are actually doing it. And so if people are actually doing it, why can't that be you too? So if this sounds like the kind of thing that you want to do, if this is kind of resonating with you, if you're kind of feeling like, yeah, you know what, it is harder to get clients from my website. It is harder, than it used to be. Or maybe you're just starting out and you're thinking, I've tried to, do stuff on Upwork or Fiverr or whatever, but there's no hope there. I mean, it's just so much, so much downward price pressure on everything, and everybody's doing everything for free. And then you begin to kind of resonate with the fact that even if you did get the $500 or $800 website project, you would have to do so many of them every month to kind of hit your income goals that you would just be burning yourself out. And in the back of your mind, you'd be knowing that you're really delivering a product that's not really going to be helping your client that much, and they probably could have done just as well on their own for free. If you want to break out of all of that, well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it for free. So I'm so passionate about all of this that I've set up my personal schedule to talk to you about this very thing for free and for like 45 minutes. So we can get on the phone talking about these types of issues and how you can kind of break out of this downward spiral and into what we are calling like the WordPress 3.0, the new form of WordPress consulting that makes a big difference for everyone involved. And so we'll talk about like what you're working on. We'll talk about your marketing. We'll talk about your pricing, and we'll put together a step-by-step plan for how you can begin to experience the kinds of results that we're talking about. If you want to work with me to do that on an ongoing basis, like if that third pillar that we were talking about, if you want somebody to help you with proposals, to help you with pre-planning for talking to prospects, to show you some email templates that can help you onboard new clients, to show you Google slide presentations that you can use to help onboard new clients for like ongoing monthly retainers and business packages that you could be offering. If that's the kind of help that you want, I'm there to help with that too. But this 45-minute call is about you. It's all about figuring out what you could be doing right now to shift out of like burnout mode and into a situation where you're really getting the kinds of results that you want. So if that sounds like something you want, head over to doublestack.net/call and you'll see my schedule. Pick a time that works for you. We'll get on the phone and we'll talk about those things. And if we want to work together after that too, awesome. If not, that's totally fine too. But I'm offering all of this up for free to help you guys kind of break out of the cycle of this downward spiral of price pressure, and to actually say that, it is in fact the case that if this is the dream, this is what you want, then it is absolutely available to you. And I am 100% committed to helping you get those kinds of results for you and for your clients as well. So head over to doublestack.net/call and pick a time that works for you. We'll get on the phone. We'll talk about this stuff, and that'll be awesome. So I really look forward to talking to you about this stuff. And if you have any questions, again, go ahead and put them in the comments below. I'll be keeping an eye here now that I'm back in town. I'll be keeping an eye on this throughout the week. We can be kind of going back and forth on all of that stuff. And yeah, so I know this is a little bit longer than usual. It's about a little over 30 minutes now. Normally I try to keep it about 20 minutes, but had so much on my mind from being away that I really wanted to get back in touch with you guys and kind of get this stuff going. So awesome. Here's a high five. Boop. And put your name in the comments below. Let me know that you're here, and hopefully we'll be talking again soon. And also Thursday we'll be back on for part 2 of silencing the critics. So all right, guys, awesome, and see you again. Hopefully over the phone, and if not there, then in this group here on Thursday. Take care. One more high five. Boop. See y'all later.